Hey everyone, Chanel here, recording our last assignment. This assignment is going to be focused on mental illness and mental health in the Black community and the stigma that's attached alongside of it. Different stats on mental health in the Black community show that African Americans are 20% more likely to experience some type of mental health issues. Common ones in the African American community are major depression, ADHD, also known as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, suicide, more commonly amongst men, PTSD, and another one that is also not noted on the screen, but according to NOMNI, is that African Americans are more likely to suffer from some type of addiction issues. All of this can be found on the nomni.org website. Within the community itself, there are a lot of stigmas attached to mental health. A lot of them being seen as being a weakness or not real, having no support system can lead people to believe that mental illness is not something that is to be taken seriously. However, we as a society are learning it is something to be taken with the utmost importance. Mental illness has shown in all races, all ethnicities, all backgrounds, but the ones that seem to overlook it the most are within the African American culture. There are a lot of celebrities that even battle with mental illness. Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child has recently come out and said that she spent some time in a mental facility trying to get treatment and try to get healthy. Radio personality and author Charlemagne the God wrote a book called The Shook One. To quote him, part of his book says, I know that bad things are still going to happen to me. Struggles that I can't even conceive of today are still going to trip me up from time to time down the road. Cops are still going to pull me over for no reason. I'm still going to worry about my kids. The anxieties are never going to fully go away. In the past, my focus was always on the things that cause me stress. Moving forward, I'm going to be on the things that bless. He took the time, the opportunity, and the willingness to seek help for how to battle his anxiety and illness, and now is able to speak on ways that we in a community and as a culture need to look at this dead on and get help. Monica Coleman is an author who wrote a book, who's written many books about the different ways within our community that we can support each other and lift each other up and look this dead on. Kendrick Lamar is also a rapper who's talked about battling with anxiety, and that has been a big part in a lot of his music, his songwriting. He has spent a lot of time with youth trying to encourage them to seek help as needed. Another stigma attached with mental illness, excuse me, another piece of the mental illness that people don't realize, especially in the African American community, is that they don't understand what it is. Mental illness isn't just, schizophrenia or people being quote unquote crazy. It's a lack of knowledge. It's people that battle with overwhelming stress, anxiety, sleep disorders, learning disabilities as well. And should these things have been taken into consideration and looked at dead on, there wouldn't be such a stigma behind it if people understood that it doesn't have to be such a negative thing. There's a lot of reluctance to discuss it because it's seen as a weakness and not as something that really needs to be looked at and faced just like any other disorder would be. Anything else you would go to a doctor for, this is something else that we can also get help in. That being said, getting help is really easy now with all the different avenues that people can go through to get help. You can go through your insurance, there are free clinics, there are online counselors, there are crisis numbers. There are many different ways to reach out and ways to get help. I think if the stigma behind mental illness in the community wasn't so big, more people would reach out for help. But I think if they had more information on how to, they would. Church is another big part. I think a lot of people shy upon speaking about things that they're not comfortable with or that they're not educated in. If there was more education behind what it actually is, there would be a lot more solution to the problem, not just overlooking it. African Americans have a higher number of people addicted to alcohol and drugs. Sleep disorders are also very high in the African American community. PTSD is one of the biggest things that we struggle with as a community. Someone who has personally battled with anxiety, I know that for me in a long time, it was not something that was talked about, but since I decided to not let it run me and I have gotten the help that I needed to battle mine, it has made such a difference in how I function with people. And I really honestly believe, should people really take the chance to get the help that they need, there would be such a more positive environment that we were all in. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Be well.